So here's the thing, guys. Kaigin came out, or Kaigin, whatever name you want to pronounce him as, is pretty much out today for the PTS server. He's not out live, so if you go on Atlas Reactor and you're trying to play him, I mean, good luck because he's not out there. However, because we're founders, we're able to do these, like myself, these types of videos to show you the abilities and stuff and what the character does. In this video, I want to show you his mods that we're experimenting with. One in particular that myself and another Atlas Reactor player, or really he's actually on a team called COTP named Sergeant Skull, we were experimenting as to his damage, his range for his dashes, and what mods would work for Kaigin. The first ability that we were messing with was Twisting Blades. And the mod that we used was called Focus Assault. Deal 5 additional damage to enemies the center, but 5 less enemies on the side, meaning his sides, instead of doing 15, would do 10, but the center would do 35. And if they're marked, they take 40 damage instead of 35 damage. So that kind of damage, especially if they were marked, is very high. Though you're still talking about a melee Freelancer, so it's still difficult to do. This Freelancer, though, he's still something to experiment with, and having him the way that he is now, people will say he's overpowered. And I can't say that he is overpowered. He is very strong. I will highly agree with that. But after his first ability with that mod, we did Razor Tempest. This is a second ability. We did Honed Edge. Ignores cover when hitting void marked targets. So if they're behind cover and they're marked, you hit them with your Honed Edge, and it does full damage. So if you do all of the lines on a single target, it does, I think, 30 or 40 damage if it's marked, and it helps quite a lot in dealing with, the ones that go through safe covers, so that's kind of why we use that specific one. His dash ability, Void Strike, we did Elusive, and Elusive seems to work out better because you gain haste. The other one I was showing, it didn't really do much. I can't exactly remember what it was called because of my notes I forgot to mark it down, but I do remember the effect of what it did is that you give them weakness when you hit a marked target. So when you dash to them, they're weakened and they obviously do less damage. And at first I thought it was going to help out your teammates, but it really doesn't because you have to mark them first. So his next ability, which is Shadow Stalker, I did actually, preferably myself, cover the night because you only have one energy after this build goes on. No other abilities are used, reduce cooldown by 1, so if you're kind of just out there and you're not messing about, then you can just wait and reduce the cooldown. His ultimate, we did Phantasmal Fury. Damage dealt to subsequent targets is only reduced by 5. So instead of 10 that you would normally lose, we did the 5 instead. So Spectre of Death, his ultimate, would be still very potent to use for his for when he is able to use it. The match that I did on here, now because it's a PTS server, we cannot play against each other. And if we can, it takes a long time. I think the queue is about 300 seconds, which that's quite a long time. So we just did bot matches. And during the bot match, the first bot match I played, which you probably will not see, not this one in particular, I lost because I played him very, very passively. Instead of playing very passively, my suggestion to you would be go aggressively. And I don't mean full-blown head-on charge like Titus and just run at them and hit them directly and stay there forever. I mean, go aggressive. Go very aggressive. And if you have range on somebody, then use a marked target ability like your Twisting Blades, if you can gain the damage. Now, I got obviously hit by pup because, you know, the pup obviously knows where you are. However, the catalyst that I used for this one, I've been messing around with this one quite a lot. So you can use critical shot to gain the additional damage. That is fine. But if you want him to survive, Turtle Tech is your best option. Because if you're going in to do damage, Turtle Tech will save you from taking a shit ton of damage if they focus you. And you might possibly survive. It's a lot better than using Critical Strike and dying all the same. And obviously his teleport ability, which was just shift. But his catalyst for the blast phase between Second Wind and Brain Juice, I chose Brain Juice. Here is the main reason why I chose Brain Juice. Your 3 abilities in the middle: Razor Tempest, Void Strike, and Shadow Stalker. Shadow Stalker has a 6 turn cooldown. Now that's kind of long. But your Void Strike has, I think, 4 or 5, and your Razor Tempest has 2 or 3. It's somewhere around there. I know it's Razor Tempest. I know it's 2. Void Strike is 4. Wait a turn after you use it. When they get down low enough, or you use Shadow Stalker, and then pop it afterwards, because you're going to not only get back your Razor Tempest, which you could have got next turn anyway, but you'll also have Void Strike ready up, and you'll be lower down in cooldown for Shadow Stalker. So, yes, you can use Second Wind to gain the health back, but why bother when all you're trying to do is take less damage, to not be seen, to do massive amounts of damage, and get out as quickly as possible. This character is very, very fragile. If one position mistake will end it for you. You will give them a free kill. And I understand that this is a bot match, okay? That, you know, this is what you should kind of expect in the future. Now, his Void Strike ability, when you dash, you can also move. Now, remember that, because not many dashes you are able to move after you dash. So some people will say, well, why don't you use Shadow Stalker and then move invisibly after using Void Strike? Well, the reason being is that you're wasting two skills when all you need is one. Void Strike, after using, does a 30 damage, possibly more if it's marked, and then you move to a bush that they cannot see. Now remember, you could do the shift key, which when you get to a specific spot, you can move more in the bushes. So they don't necessarily know exactly where you are unless they're going to shoot everywhere, like if Nyx was kind of horizontal or vertical to you, or if Pup uses ultimate and you weren't far enough, and so on and so forth. But the possibilities of that is very unlikely or very narrow, unless, you know, you position yourself wrong. So that's what I would suggest you can do. Aggressive playstyle is go in if you can get to a right position, hit them with Twisting Blades, or if you're far enough away from danger, but you can possibly get some decent damage down range. Razor Tempest is also another way to do it, because if they're marked, then you could also do more damage with the Honed Edge mod that ignores cover. The main thing that I want people to take from this is not the build itself, or that the idea that he is going to be a perfect freelancer to play as with this specific build. I want you to take my videos as this is what will possibly happen. And with these specific mods, especially this one, especially this character, I want you to anticipate what this character can do in a tournament setting or in a match against you, or if you were with one. With all of these skills being used, the main grand finale that you want to do is Spectre of Death. His ultimate, find a grand opportunity to do more. I guess if you were going to do a final kill, that's fine on one specific Freelancer, but I would do it on 2 or more. Because the more damage you do to multiple people, the better off you'll be for your teammates to end the game faster. So if you can do multiple damage with your Spectre of Death, not to mention they'd be marked, because all damage you do is marked. If you can do multiple damage, you'll get away from the idea of tunnel vision, and you'll do more damage to multiple different Lancers at once, ensuring that you and your teammates will win the game compared to the other teammates if they messed up. If you're against another Kaigin and he messes up, you have a better chance in winning that game than he does, because that's all it takes is one mistake and that one free kill. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helps, and if it doesn't, well then, thanks for stopping by. This has been Punching Out, and I'll see you all in the next AR video. Later.